not know what to say next. And I found the sort of give and take in argument, I found that kind of enjoyable and kind of, I don't know what the right word would be, energizing, I guess. Yeah. There aren't as many actual debates as you might expect. Secular philosophers tend to associate with other secular philosophers. Maybe the same is true of Christian philosophers. They tend to associate with other Christian philosophers. So there aren't a lot of occasions when there are sort of anything like full-dress debates between secular and Christian philosophers. There probably should be, but there aren't. I have always enjoyed debating. There was a time when Christian philosophers didn't want sort of in public to act like Christian philosophers, sort of standing back from it and doing and trying to do philosophy in the same way as other people were doing it. But I never thought that was the right way to do things. I mean, many of these Christian philosophers were in situations where they were a lone voice and felt sort of intimidated and like that. I was never in that kind of situation. I was at Calvin and at Notre Dame in the context of a Christian institution with lots of Christian students and Christian faculty members around. So I don't take any credit for being especially brave. I wasn't in a situation that required bravery, but I did talk in a very forthright manner about Christian belief and Christian philosophy, and I think lots of young Christian philosophers do that now. Well, I mean, my favorite passage is probably, you might think it's sort of not very original, but I think it's a great passage. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that those who believed on him should be saved. That's the summary of the Christian religion. And for that reason, I think it's a wonderful verse.
普兰丁格认为，许多人的人生、家庭、婚姻会因为他们认识神而改变。人人都有这个转向神、向美好的人生回头的机会，但是人们常常抱怨没有机会，且从不迈出选择的步伐。
Well, I'd like to be remembered as a good Christian and a good husband and a good father. We can ask my wife about the good husband part.
I think so. I think he did well in all those areas. Yeah, he does dishes. Yeah, he paid the bills. No, he just did ordinary things around the house. When our children were very small, he helped with them. He was obsessed with mountain climbing. From the very first year that I knew him, he came out west with my parents and me and saw the mountains for the first time. And he was in love with the mountains ever since. And he climbed a lot of the main mountains in several different countries. And that was kind of an obsession with him until he kind of outgrew his mountain climbing ability. And the last time he tried it, doing some hiking in the Grand Tetons, he said, I guess I can't do this anymore. But that was one of his very main interests, rock climbing and mountain climbing, yeah. Well, one thing, I heard your interview earlier with him, and I would like to add a bit to that. I went to many of his lectures, and I always look forward to the question and answer period. And somebody would ask a question, and sometimes it wasn't very clear, and he would rearrange the question so that it really made sense, and then he would answer it. And like he said, he never got stumped. He always had a good answer. And so that was always my favorite part of the lecture, is the question period. It has grown a bit, but I'll have to admit that sometimes I heard the same lecture 4 or 5 times, and I would hoped that each time I understood it a little better. I'll admit that at first, early in our marriage, I worried about that because I did not consider myself an intellectual, and he obviously was from the very first time I met him. But it didn't seem to matter to him, and he made that very clear, and it was never a problem. We found things in common, like our 4 children, and we're very proud of our 4 children. That, I think, was the greatest thing we did together, was raise those 4 children.
I don't think there is any such thing as philosophy in the abstract. I think philosophy is always from some point of view. The main distinction is really with respect to the starting points. Mine is Christian, theirs is something very different.